Right now, firefighters in Winston-Salem are investigating what caused this fire.
Teague Road is back open this morning after shutting down as crews responded. Morning reporter Aaron Burnett joins us live from the scene with what we know so far this morning. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning, guys. We don't know that much so far. Right now, we do know that the fire is out. This is no longer an active scene, but you could still see the house that burned behind me. Now, what I do want you to look at is your screen right now, because we got video from Winston-Salem Fire this morning of when this was a very active scene. You can still see these huge flames shooting off of the home. Winston-Salem Fire and police tell me that they got a call about this fire around 3 o'clock this morning, and fire officials tell me that the home was vacant. So luckily, there were no injuries. No one was injured. Again, right now, we still don't know a cause. Investigators are looking into that. And as we get more information, both on air and online, we will bring that to you. But for now, live in Winston-Salem, I'm Aaron Burnett, WXAI 12 News.
Thank you, Aaron. Now we go to Rockingham County, where one woman is in custody, accused of helping a man wanted for a home break-in in Eden.
Deputies say that Daniel Martin broke into a home along Springwood Drive Sunday and stole a shotgun. Deputies believe he is still armed. Martin is wanted for several felony charges.
The Guilford County Sheriff's Office arrested Megan Devaney in Stokesdale yesterday and charged her with aiding and abetting Martin. Before she was arrested, authorities say the pair was last seen in this white Acura TLX with North Carolina tags LLX 5857. Investigators believe Martin may still be traveling in this car and the tags could have been altered. If you see him, you're urged to call 911.
The time on the clock is 6:04. This morning, a 95-year-old woman is dead following a house fire in Guilford County. On Sunday, deputies responded to Hunsucker Road just north of Greensboro after a neighbor reported smoke coming from the home. The sheriff's office says firefighters found the body of the homeowner, Catherine Johnson, inside. Several local and state agencies are investigating.
Now to Durham, where 2 firefighters are recovering after battling a house fire. We're told one firefighter suffered burns to his hand and arm. The other was shocked by the home's solar panel system.
We're told that one person in the home was able to safely get out. The cause of this fire is still under investigation.
Right now, the North Carolina Fire Service says crews have fully contained a wildfire burning in Randolph County. Crews responded to reports of that fire on Tot Hill Farm Road yesterday morning. The State Forest Service says the flames were caused by the rekindling of debris that was burned weeks ago. The fire burned a total of 30 acres.
A Wilmington man is in custody this morning after police say that he stabbed a Marine. The Marine died in the attack. Davy Spencer is charged with second-degree murder and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill.
Wilmington police say he stabbed 21-year-old Daniel Mantano on Easter morning after multiple fights broke out on North Front Street. According to the warrant, 2 other people were also hurt during the fight. Spencer is being held without bond.
6:05, police in the Bahamas releasing a Michigan man detained after his wife disappeared at sea.
Brian Hooker was released by authorities with no charges. The 58-year-old was taken into custody last week. His wife, Lynette Hooker, remains missing after she disappeared during a nighttime boat ride. Brian Hooker denies any involvement in what happened to her. Authorities in the Bahamas have not announced any charges, and this investigation remains ongoing.
Authorities are investigating a suspected connection between a Texas man and a violent attack targeting Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI. Federal agents spent several hours at a home near Houston as part of an ongoing investigation tied to last week's Molotov cocktail attack at Altman's San Francisco residence.
Prosecutors say Daniel Moreno Gama carried out the early morning attack. He now faces federal charges.
Right now, the U.S. military continues to block Iran's ports and coastal areas.
It comes as President Trump says the ceasefire with Iran is, quote, holding after negotiations broke down over the weekend.
But the president maintains Iran still wants to make a deal. Alice Barr has details now from Washington, D.C.
A pivotal moment in the war with Iran as American warships stationed just outside the Strait of Hormuz are blocking any vessels attempting to come in or out of Iranian ports, aiming to cut off the country's oil exports, its economic lifeblood, and force a peace deal. President Trump saying Monday the right people had called.
They would like to work a deal.
Vice President J.D. Vance led the U.S. team in direct talks that broke down over the weekend, saying it's up to Iran to accept the administration's red lines of dismantling the country's ability to develop a nuclear weapon and removing its enriched uranium.
They moved in our direction, which is why I think we would say that we had some good signs, but they didn't move far enough.
Iran is calling the partial blockade of the strait an act of piracy and warning no port in the Gulf is safe while it's in place as oil prices climb. While another key sticking point moves center stage today with Secretary of State Marco Rubio mediating talks in Washington between Israel and Lebanon, seeking an end to fighting with Iran-backed Hezbollah militants that threatens a broader peace deal. All amid President Trump's war of words against Pope Leo, accusing him of being weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy.
Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran.
The first American pope responding to a question from NBC News.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
He has vocally criticized the war and pushed for peace.
And President Trump says he won't apologize to the Pope as lawmakers in both parties have urged him to avoid conflict with the pontiff. Vice President J.D. Vance, himself a Catholic, insisted it's possible to respect the Pope and maintain good relations with the Vatican while at times disagreeing. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The impacts from the war continue to drive up gas prices. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular in the U.S. is $4.12. Last month, the national average was $3.63.
Prices continue to be below the national average in North Carolina. AAA reports our state average to be $3.89 a gallon. 1 month ago, the state average was $3.44 a gallon. The time on the clock is 6:09. Community members in Rural Hall are taking new action to try and prevent a data center from setting up shop in town.
Town councilors updated a resolution against this proposal last night, saying the first draft included a section that talked about their long list of demands if the data center is approved. But now that part is gone. The new resolution simply asks for Forsyth County commissioners not to approve the project.
This center embrace our community? Will this center build us up or tear us down? We trust you.
The resolution should only represent the opposition to the rezoning to allow for a data center to be built.
The proposal seeks to bring a 100-plus acre property to town. It's drawn a lot of pushback at recent meetings. Again, this decision is ultimately up to Forsyth County commissioners. The county is expected to have a planning meeting on May the 14th.